I frequently get asked how I sort and store my collage fodder. Specifically magazine cutouts, you know. I just recently did a video where I harvested some magazines, so you can kind of see my thought process as I'm going through and picking out the images to save. And then once I've picked them out, I cut them out and then sort them and store them in this, pretty much. There are some exceptions that I will show you. But I started doing it this way about 6 years ago. I did a video that showed this, and I just want to revisit that. It's gone through some changes and will continue to go through some changes, and this may not work for you. I started out, I think as most of us do, with a 3-ring binder and some sheet protectors or baseball card sleeves, you know, that kind of thing. And that worked for a long time until I outgrew it. And then I added another binder and then another one. And then I started using these giant 3-inch binders. And after I filled up 4 of those, I decided my system was no longer working for me. How do you know when your system doesn't work for you anymore? Okay, my telltale sign is that I find that I don't put stuff back where it goes. And this was the problem with the 3-ring binders, because I had to get, you know, I had so many binders, I had to get the right binder, I had to flip through to the right section and get a page and then stick my image into the sheet protector, and apparently that is too dang much work for me. Who knew? I thought it was pretty simple, and you know, it did work for a while. But then I thought, okay, here, I know myself, and here's what I want to do. I want to flip through something and go, here you go, drop it in, drop it in. I can maintain this system. If you have a system that you can't maintain, don't even bother. It's not going to work for you. And the tedious, you know, putting stuff in little places, I wouldn't do it. Stuff would pile up, and I was just too lazy to work my own system. So it wasn't working for me. I switched to this. I save probably a lot more than most of you do because I'm a tidy hoarder, and that's okay. At least they're all in one neat container. These are just regular file folders that I painted one day, and they're in an Amazon box. So it's kind of heavy, but I can move it around if need be. And my categories, I can't really give you a list of categories for you to save because yours will be different than mine depending on what you like to save. So what I recommend if you're just starting out is start pulling things out of magazines that catch your eye, that you want to save, that you can picture yourself using, and then divide them up, and your categories kind of make themselves. And I start out, like in the beginning, I had one stack of people. You know, all of my people went into this one sheet protector in my binder. And then it started getting too fat, so I had to subdivide my people. And I had my brides, because I would cut out of bride magazines. And then I'd have my whole people, and then my people parts, and then kids, and then, you know, subdivide like that. So that's how your categories will kind of make themselves. You know, if you just start collecting stuff, and, you know, like I said, this is stuff that I'm using for glue books and junk journals and paper dolls and mixed media stuff and collage things, just that kind of thing. That's what goes in here. And my folders, okay, here's where I've kind of changed, and I have a feeling this system may not work for too much longer, but I don't know what would be better, so I'm sticking with it for as long as possible. And what I did for each of these is I had sheet protectors because I was using those in my binder, right? So I sewed a sheet protector into the file folder, just along the edge here. Some of them I put a piece of tape on the fold so that it would kind of strengthen it. And I sewed the sheet protector in, and you know, sheet protectors load this way. So I sewed that shut, and then I cut off the sides so they would load this way. And this was super easy. I made these because just putting the images in here loose, they would fall out. And this way I can, you know, when I'm filing stuff away, I can just go through this, find my category, open this, drop in my image, and I'm done. So that has been working great. Recently, I've noticed I've kind of changed in the way I use things and in some of the things I used. So, and I've also had to do more subdividing. You can see this is animals. And I subdivided before. I've got birds and I've got butterflies in here somewhere. I've got birds, I've got butterflies, so they have their own folder. And I may need to add some extra folders for some other categories too, because I found that I need to sort out my dogs and cats. This is just mammals that are not dogs and cats. These are reptiles. I realize that that's an amphibian, but you know, anything reptile-ish goes in here. Same with fish. There's probably some whales in here. I realize those are not fish, but they live in the ocean. So in my world, they're fish. Insects. Okay, spiders are not insects. They're spiders, but to me, anything creepy crawly is an insect. So I've got those, and I just used what I had. I had a whole bunch of these little photo sleeves, and I don't know if I got them in a thrift store or if they were gifted to me. I don't remember where I got them, but I have a huge stack. And they were perfect for sorting out these smaller images. And this is one way that I've changed over the years. I find that when I go and I look for an animal to put somewhere, my criteria is size. And sometimes it's the type of animal, but my main criteria is size. So this was helpful in sorting out my smaller things. I can put in these, and if they were too big for this but still needed their own category, I used these Ziplocs that I had on hand. And then bigger stuff, they can just all live together in here. This one I think has two, and I don't know the difference. Full sheets, I just put back here if they're really large and aren't really going to fall out, then they can just sit in the folder. So this is my system that I love right now and that I am still using. And you know, like I said, it changes, it grows. It's been through a lot. Let me just say. And so I have my categories, and I just went through and kind of cleaned and straightened this out the other day, and I've got some categories that I need to remove because there's like 2 images in there. Why do I need a whole folder for that? I don't even know, but I have it, and it needs to not be that way. So yeah, I need to make some changes. Recently, okay, let me show you this. One thing that I need to work on is my words and phrases. And I'm not quite sure how to fix this. Y'all can give me some suggestions. I have this folder. Let me move this over. And I used to just, you know, stick my words and phrases in here. And then you can see how many I have. There's a lot, and I couldn't find anything. So I divided them out. I've got quotes. I've got phrases. I've got words, and then I've got like numbers and miscellaneous random. Okay, now each of these is even getting too big that I can't really find anything. So this is either a sign that I'm saving too much, which is entirely possible, and I need to cut back, or I need a different system. I used to have these on end sheet protectors, and I had some removable glue that I put on the back so it would hold them in place on a sheet in my sheet protector, and it was beautiful. I could flip through, I could read all of my words and phrases and grab just what I wanted, and if I decided I didn't want it, I never put it back because effort. Alright, this is a come to Jesus video. Y'all are seeing just exactly how lazy I really am. I do not like effort. I want things to just be dropped in their place, and then when I want them, I want to be able to just pull it right out. I don't know how to make that happen exactly, but I'm working on it. So, yeah, I need to do something about these. Everything else, you know, works pretty well. I showed y'all in some other video that I now can't remember recently, that I was just pulling out colors and patterns of magazine pages. You know, like it wasn't really an image that I wanted, but I really liked the color, or I really liked the design, and I wanted to use it for kind of like scrapbook paper. That's my pattern paper, my backgrounds, my whatever. So I already had these folders made up. I just never really made that good a use of them. This was excellent for that. These are the colors that I tend to keep: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, light brown, cream tan. Okay, dark brown, I've got 2 things in there. Clearly I don't need a dark brown folder. Black, white, gray, and multicolor. And what I did was all of those, that stack of color and pattern magazine pages that I pulled out, I just laid them out and divided them up, and some of them were a little challenging because they have lots of different colors on them. But I just looked at it and thought, what is the main color that I see in here? And that's how I decided where to put it. Okay, like this one, this could have been yellow, it could have been pink, but I just looked at it and thought, what is the main color that I see in here? And, you know, how would I want to find this if I was looking for it? And for me, it was red. So I put it in the red folder. So you can see, this is my red folder, and there are different colors in here, but either the dominant color is red, or it's the color that catches my eye when I look at it. See, this could have been red or purple or orange or yellow. And it's not so much that there's more red than anything else. The key is what catches my eye. And it was the red on this one. This one, same way. There's not a whole lot of red in here. I don't even know. Okay, this is right side up. I don't know what that is. Interesting. Anyway. I mean, it could have gone in the orange or the yellow, and my yellow is yellow/gold, so it could have gone that way. But for me, when I look at this, I think red. So I want it in my red folder. So that's how I decided where to put these super colorful pages that I want to use specifically for their color and pattern. So yeah, see this one, to me, it just makes me think orange, even though it's more like yellow and peach, but I think orange when I see this. And same thing here. This could have gone green, but my eye pulls the orange. So that's how I divided up my color and pattern pages. It's very subjective and has nothing to do with how much of a color is on the page. It's what your personal eyeball is drawn to, if you want to do it like this. That's what I recommend. So that is my system. In the front of my little box there, I have a blank folder, and this is where I slip things that I don't know what in the heck to do with. Oh, I know what to do with that. You're in the wrong place. But I don't know where to put it, or it's weird, or I can't figure it out. So I stick it in here, and also if I'm actually too lazy to go to the correct folder and drop it in, because that's a lot of work, then I'll stick it in here, kind of like a to be filed section. So that's me giving myself some grace. So that is my system for sorting and organizing my collage bits and pieces. My exception to that rule is this. This is one of my binders back when I was in my binder phase. It's large. This is paper doll stuff. And I keep them separate from my other stuff because sometimes I teach paper doll classes here locally, and this is much more portable than that. And I just keep things in here that are conducive to paper doll making. So this is my paper doll binder. Now I do have over here, like I've got a whole people full bodies. I've got a whole folder of them. But see, she doesn't say paper doll to me because I like her whole entire self. So she's not in the paper doll. Here's the Dalai Lama. I just don't see me making a paper doll out of him. I certainly could. You can make a paper doll out of anything. I just don't see myself using him. So that's what this is. This is people, see look, here's Bruce. He's on his motorcycle. He would be a great paper doll. I just don't see myself using that for a paper doll image. I kind of want to keep it just like it is. So yeah, that's what this separation is. I gotta put this back where it goes. Okay, there we go. And here's how I do my paper doll stuff, because I need this to be portable and I need it to where I can pull stuff out easy for classes. So this first section is people parts. So I've got the first section is just heads, and this is this was like, it held photo slides, so it's got small little pockets. So I've got little heads, bigger heads. This is like a baseball card sleeve. So these are all just kind of heads that I can use on top of dolls, or I can cut out and use their eyes or their lips or whatever, but it's just the whole head. And then they start out kind of small and then they get bigger. And that's usually the way I sort things, is by size from small to bigger. So these are bigger heads. Some of the heads have a little bit of body attached, but if they have below the waist body, then they're not a head. They're a partial person, and they go in different spots. And I've been doing this whole system like for years and years, so I know. I know how I save and how I sort and organize. Okay, after heads, we have other parts like lips and eyes, and arms and legs, and there's some torsos and some noses in here, and then the larger sheets of the same. So this is people parts that I can cut from my own dolls or for classes or whatever. Okay, whole people, these are like the doll foundations, and I have a few that are small, so they go in here, but I normally don't make paper dolls that small, so there's not many. These are my whole people, and again, they're organized by size. And these little images like this, if you put them in a sheet protector, every time you turn the page, they fall, they get all messed up. So I used my repositionable glue stick, and I just did one little swipe on them, and that's enough to hold them in their place. They stay put, but they're not super sticky on the back, so I can use them and move them around in my whatever I'm making. So here's my small people, and then they're just full bodies, and they get progressively larger. And some of them I have several of the same thing, so I put them all together. And these big people like this, these are not glued down because they don't really move around a lot. It's just the little ones that are layered, you know, with rows. Those are the ones that get all jumbled up. So these are just sitting in there. And there we have it. This is just weirdness. This is the end of my full bodies. This is just a page of weirdness, a page of babies. Then we get into partial bodies. It's more than just the waist up. You know, they've got just a little bit of leg. So I would still use these as a paper doll. And they get bigger. And then these are people who have something with them. They have an accessory, and headless people. So we move on to accessories, and this is where I keep things like hats and glasses. Where am I going to put you? You can just go in there with that one. Hats, sunglasses, maracas, I don't know. They were with the sombrero, so I put them here together because I don't know. I might have a paper doll mariachi band at some point. You just don't know. So I kept them. Shoes, dresses, umbrellas, just all kinds of accessories for my paper dolls. Go here. And clothes, umbrellas, did I say that? Oh, sometimes I like to make like a belt out of these, or an earring. So I've got a little bling. So anyway, this is how I organize my paper dolls and paper doll parts and pieces and accessories, and everything else goes into these folders, which are great for lazy people who just want to do that. So I recently expanded my bottles. If y'all watch my previous videos, you know that I'm a little obsessed with cutting out bottles, just because they are easy to cut out. And I do sometimes use them for paper dolls. So here's what I did. I used to have a folder. It was bottles and glass. So I would put wine bottles, liquor bottles, glasses. You know, you cut out like a wine glass. You see those a lot in magazines. It all went in the same. And then it got to where I couldn't find anything because there was too much in it. So now I have bottles beverage, bottles perfume, and then cans and glass. So my beverage bottles, that's anything like wine bottles, beer bottles, liquor bottles, anything like that. And I use these weird photo sleeves and just put them by size. Like bottles 1, that's the little one. Bottles 2, they get bigger. And then they just keep getting bigger. Like that. And then these are the largest of my bottles. And then anything, there's like 2 bottles together, or, you know, whatever weirdness, that goes in this one. So I'm much happier with my bottles. Now we'll just see how well I keep up with putting them back where they go, because that is not my strong suit. So hopefully that will be maintainable. Perfume, I'm still I'm not sure what to do with, you gotta go. Perfume bottles. I'm not sure how to sort them. So all I did, okay, great big ones went in the sleeve here. And then I used these, and I just kind of divided them up sort of by color, or color and brand. I mean, I couldn't do a brand for, you know, every different brand because there was just too many. But if it was kind of the same shape, you know, similar shape or color, then I put them together. And I didn't even label them because I don't think that this is going to be maintainable. I don't know. We'll just see how this goes with perfume bottles. And sometimes these are great for just a little background something, or a part of a collage, or I've made paper dolls with perfume bottle bodies. So there's perfume bottles. And then I sorted out my cans and glass. So instead of putting my glassware in with my bottles, it has its own space. I have cans here, and these are just, there's like White Claw cans and different cans I've cut out. And then this is my stemware, like the martini glasses and wine glasses, anything with a stem. And then over here is no stems. These are tumblers and all of that. So that is how I'm sorting and organizing and storing my collage fodder right now. It's working for me. It may or may not work for you, but you know, hopefully maybe this will give you some ideas, some tips for sorting. And then this is just, like I said, highly subjective. You just have to figure out what works for you based on how you end up using your stuff, or how your mind sorts it or sees it. And it's hard to explain, but my biggest recommendation is get a handle on it early. If you've got 6 pieces that you've collected so far, put them into something, make you a system, you know, get started early before all of your stuff gets out of hand, because I'm telling you, you blink twice, it's out of hand. That's just how it happens. These things are worse than wire hangers. they will multiply while you sleep. So, yep, get a handle on it, because when it gets overwhelming, it definitely affects your ability to use it. You just, if you're like me, my mind gets overwhelmed, and then I can't even be creative when my mind is overwhelmed. So this keeps me somewhat organized, and hopefully this will work for a while longer until I need to figure something else out. So that's all I have. Just wanted to share that little tip with you. Until next time, the end.